Hello, everyone. I wanted to make a year review of sort of the best moments or what I found to be interesting from this my first full season of racing in Formula F. I uh, I got into this because of sim racing, and one of my friends started doing this in real life, and I really enjoyed and liked the racing they did, and thought this would be a good entry into real racing, and it has been. That was my first race start, and it was very bad. I started in second gear and was supposed to be in first. Was reminded multiple times by my mechanic, but I still stuck in second gear instead of first. It didn't hurt me in this race. I ended up catching back up and passing this this car, which is my teammate, another Andrew, and he lets me go. I had more pace, but he lets me go there so I don't lose any more time that I'm not gonna want to catch up in this race anyways. But this was a really cool track. Pueblo Motorsports Park. I this was the first time I'd ever driven in real life. I drove previously, but I never drove on a track that I couldn't drive in the sim, or sort of chose not to. This isn't an iRacing, and I predominantly do that. And so I learned completely based off of watching video and visualization, and then just going out and doing my practice laps. I don't recommend that if you can avoid it. If you can drive it on the sim, you should. I just didn't get around to downloading Assetto Corsa or whatever sim it's on. I think they've got some mods on there that have this track, this relative layout. That would have helped, but it was more about learning the car in this first weekend, and just learning how to shift and doing it correctly and not miss shifting too much. Downshifting was the hard part to learn, because I have to blip the throttle, and I'm not really used to doing that in the simulator at all. It's useful to do for some cars, and I still don't really do it. I prefer not doing it. It feels weird, and then it feels weird in the simulator, and then in real life it felt natural. I mean, you have to do it, but it felt natural. It was weird. So that was a lap around the track. It's connected to this drag strip, which is really cool. Never seen something like that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Very physical track. It was definitely a nice starting place. The next time out, the first race at Road America was in the full wet conditions to start, and everyone was on slicks, so that made for an eventful race. I get pushed off before the first turn. Yeah, wasn't happy about that per se. Pretty dangerous. But I don't know if he didn't see me or what, and this was definitely a learning experience. Definitely a lot of useful information learned from what happens when it's it gets this wet, and it dried very quickly because the sun came out immediately after. It was the only race the entire day that was wet. So it was very strange. Yeah, that blue car spun. Checked this up pretty hard. I mean, there's no grip in puddles with slick tires, so these are actually radials, not true slicks. But there's no grip. It's just basically a flat surface. I got to drive in the rain tires, but not really on a wet track, so I don't really know what that's like still. I guess I have a feeling it would have been a lot nicer to start on wets, and we had theorized after this race that it might have been better to start on wets and get a big lead or something compared to everybody else. because they did give us the option. Now this is actually, I skipped ahead to the last lap because nothing eventful happens. At least outside of me and that blue car that spun, he caught back up, and have been kind of going back and forth a little bit, which was exciting because this was the first time I got to race anybody for more than like a corner. Basically, at Pueblo, I literally only raced with anyone for really about a corner before the two cars that were faster than me pulled ahead, and the cars behind me, drifted away. So yeah, we had some traffic there, and I don't know if he comes through here, but I was definitely defending this corner to some degree because it had pretty much dried out by now. There were some spots where there were still puddles and stuff, but really on the racing line, and for the most part, this last lap was near dry. I didn't do that turn right all weekend till the runoffs that I did that turn right. But coming down here, he was catching me, and I kind of just let him go ahead of me. I believe it's right here. Just kidding. It's after this. It's on the exit of the carousel. He was much faster in the carousel this race, and he had a lot of speed. And here he is, gonna pass me going into the kink, which, pretty fast turn to do that in, but it was fine. It didn't really matter. I was kind of willing to let that happen because I thought previously that I could pass him at the line. And so staying within the draft here I was not worried about losing this position. It was only for 5th or 6th place, but I still wanted to pass him. So I'm just waiting and lining up the pass to get the best draft onto the front straight, and he makes a little mistake. I had a much better exit as well, and I'm going to clear him very easily as we get the line. Just the draft here is huge, just these long straights. And this is sort of a foreshadowing event for the end of the year, because runoffs, the national championship, is also at Road America, and something similar will happen. This is the second race of the CAT majors. This is June or July, beginning of July, and I'm starting third, and I guess this is the best start. It's probably the best start I had of the year. I stay with them until the first turn where I missed my braking point and I almost run in the back of the car in front of me, and then I'm in the wrong gear and I'm too slow. And then this next corner I make an even worse mistake because I defend, which is fine. I do well here. I get a good exit and I've got draft. But going into turn 5, I just decide that I don't need to defend because he's not going to go for the move, because we're going to lose too much time and we'll lose draft on the guys in front, and they were showing significant pace on the rest of us. And I thought I could stay with them. This guy in front of me is the national champion, and the guy in front of him was the pole sitter of last year's runoff. But he goes for the move. The blue car goes for the move, and I'm kind of screwed on the outside of this turn 6. You're screwed. It's tight. I'm just trying not to crash, basically. And turn 7, it's not really too wide possible at any kind of speed. Both people have to just give way, and we race clean, but we lose loads of time. And so eventually I sort of give up the spot. He's got the outside line, really the racing line, and I try to be as aggressive as possible on the inside, but it's not enough to really stay right on the gearbox. I'm going to get a good toe anyways. It doesn't matter. Long straights, big drafting areas. So I go ahead and go back for the move because I thought I had more pace. I thought maybe, just maybe, if they make a couple passes in front of us, that I could catch back up and race for a win. That proves not to be true, and that's because of this next part. This is the following lap going into the same corner, Canada corner. Right-hander, pretty quick right-hander. I'm just really going to push this braking zone. I don't know why I did this, but I did it. And I don't get enough rotation, and I just drift off. Sort of a lazy exit of the corner. Just didn't have the grip, and 3 cars come by pretty quickly. I managed to pass the right car the next lap, which was great, and sort of at the same time that actually the 2 cars in front of me started working together a little bit and not passing each other. So they are going to start catching up to the blue car by sort of not fighting, and I eventually catch up to them. I set the fastest lap of this race in their tow. And at this moment, I'm starting to think that I need to be more aggressive and go for the move and pass some of these guys. And they make it, contact, exit turn 3. And so I make the move on the outside. That was kind of risky. Not as risky as this move. And yeah, big crash there. He goes into the wall, and the black car just pulls off. He has a broken front right suspension or steering, and so he just pulls off. So that was 2 positions easily gained. Going into the last lap, I was continuing to fight with the 33, the blue car of Constantinitis, and I let him go right there in turn 8 because I was thinking to set him up for the same last lap pass at the last corner going on the straight again. But he must have been thinking the same thing, because at this point he lifts off pretty hard, and then he lifts off again right here, and I just blow right by him. I don't really know why he did this. That was just too much. I know what he's trying to do, but he lifted way too much, and I was able to just cruise sort of to the finish line. And he tried. I mean, he tried to stay with me, but it was way too big of a gap at that point. So moving on to the next weekend, I went to Eagles Canyon near Dallas, Fort Worth area, and I qualified on pole both races. I had 2 bad starts. I didn't let him pass this time. The first race he passed me, but the footage was terrible because of the bugs there. I had gone off in the weekend, and there was a lot of bugs that had blocked the camera. So I'm defending now, and this was his 4th lap, yeah. So he comes, I guess probably third lap, and the white car passed me pretty easily. He's actually the track record holder for our class, and very good competition. So this was a good test. My 3rd weekend, and I sort of have feeling some pace. And so he passed me. Very clean driver, and I go for a lunge here that I was sort of surprised stuck. I hadn't really tried to outbrake anyone, and that move was just enough to get by him. At this point, I just kind of pull away. I had fresher tires than he did. I think he was running on some used set, but I was able to put some clean laps in and pull away with my first victory in the SACA, and it was pretty great. And then moving on to the runoffs race, the national championship was pretty uneventful for me personally, outside of almost crashing with the other class, which should not be participating with us. Again, those Formula Continentals, when they lapped us in this race, faster class, almost died, but no big deal. I had an okay start initially, but then the orange car checked up, and I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I'd go on the outside again, and I already made this mistake once, and I didn't learn my lesson. It's learned now. I'm not going to be doing that again, hopefully. But yeah, so I got pushed off again, which was not great. I lost a bunch of positions. But since there's a tow at Road America, huge tow, I'm thinking, it's okay. I'll be able to catch back up. I'll be able to stay within the draft and just maybe make a position or two here and there. And at this point, I hadn't really thought about the getting lapped. And here comes the last lap. Like I said, nothing was really that eventful in between there. The show. And I'll let this play out.
Goes around in the final lap. Oh, and it's contact as well. Kotick and Burns together. That allows Down to come through to the lead of the race.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe this in the second to last corner.
An improbable final lap. And Thornton, Colorado's Nathan Down has come through to take a hotly contested national title, and it's 3 wide for second.
And so I went from 8th to 3rd in the matter of 2 corners. It's pretty exciting and very lucky, but I also got that pass right at the line for the last spot on the podium. Thank you to everyone who helped me out this year with those driving tips and fixing the car. We did have a little moment where we had to put the car back together. The gearbox failed, and would have missed a race, but I appreciate to the community and to Jay and Charlie for working on the car, and it was a lot of fun. I'm ready for more next year, and if you have any interest in sponsoring, let me know. I'll put my email in the description. Thank you.